Hello, everyone.
There's nobody seen us yet.
So we're going to jump on here together and do this live because we
It's sunny out.
Yeah.
It's nice out, so here we are.
It's great. And, you know, I've been trying to do this day 8 since yesterday, but I've been having technical problems with this new software. So anyway.
Well, there's a new setup. He's
Yeah.
got a whole new setup, so we're just problem solving it. So just bear with, and he'll get you caught up. It's not 12 days, it might be 13 days.
We're going to go old school.
Old school. Do you have your microphone on? Oh, you do.
Yeah. Hey,
Hey,
it's Beverly.
Bev, how are you? Happy birthday. Yesterday, I know, but I mean, you know, it's like birthday season.
What does it feel like to be 28 in the world right now, Beverly? I don't know.
Your whole life ahead of you. Uh-oh, if I come too close, I got a
Hello,
shadow
Enrico.
on me. Whatever.
Oh, you cannot beat this weather right now. I mean, for what we've got going on, like, it is the best of the best for this time of year.
And the colors, the trees are just, this is a beautiful, not every year does Wisconsin get beautiful fall colors. Some years it's a flop, but man, this year it's just perfect. The trees are bright red or yellow and orange. They're just all changing. And oh, so here's something funny. I shared it in one of my other videos, but maybe you didn't catch it. It's really funny. So, I don't know how many weeks ago our second oldest started telling our youngest about Santa and using the Santa tool, which is, oh, Santa's watching, you know, you got to be good because Santa. And I'm thinking, well, it's kind of early for that, but it was working, you know, because, hey, be nice because Santa's watching, and then she is better, whatever. Well, and then my mom puts on the Miley Cyrus Christmas music with my daughter. And I was like, Mom, what are you doing? And then the next day, after both of those things, like, I'm hearing all about Santa, and then Miley Cyrus Christmas, and then it snowed.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, what? And then it was exactly 2 months before Christmas Day, because it snowed on the 25th of October, and I thought, well, could have seen that coming. But anyways, I digress. That was just
Nice.
That's not.
So I'm still hungover from the Oreo cookies last night, and we once in a while, like every day, we do a little splurge, and so we were watching. Yeah, well, I did it last night, but we watched an incredible movie. So the movie Miracle, with about the 1980s U.S. Olympic hockey team. My coach Bob Suter was on that team, so I like to watch that every now and then because it's such a good, inspiring story. Just about the fundamental mechanics, okay? I'll talk about that today. That's what the lesson's going to be about, is about how you apply the fundamentals to your life, and that's how you create miracles. It's the little things that you do masterfully that create...
Masterfully?
Yes, masterfully. You do them with precision and skill. That's how you win the big things in life. It's not this epic once in a year
Not one
thing.
home run.
No, it's not going for the home run once a year.
It's just the baseline hits.
Every time. It's just mastering the fundamentals and executing better than anyone else.
So I want to sidetrack on that movie.
Yep.
One thing that was interesting, and that was how it was very mirroring. They did a good job in the movie of taking you through what was going on in the economy and in the world events at the time. And I said to my kids, they were watching it with me, I said, look at what they're talking about that's going on back then in the late 70s. It's same as what they're talking about today, the fear of bombing and the corruption and the lies, and because in the movie they're showing about that. So just it's kind of refreshing to know that, like my parents have said during this whole weird time we're going through, is we've been through stuff like this before and we're still here, we're not afraid. So that's a word of encouragement. That,
hey, and not to mention it's the the communist, it had to do with the communist rise of power, and it's this centralized beehive mentality that the AI tech oligarchs seem to want to deploy now because they have the means to do so. But what it was were these guys, these young, inexperienced, just
college kids straight out of high school.
Yeah,
college kids
full of passion and heart. How did they win against a power that they were never supposed to beat.
Against professional athletes.
Yeah, these guys...
The Russian team in this movie, they had been playing together for 15 years. They had been bred, they were men. So these young boys went up against a team of Russian men.
Yep. And so I remember when, I have the privilege of Bob coaching me for many years of my life, and he brought that style of coaching into all of his, kids that he brought up. And what he always taught me, and I want to relay this to you because this applies, I've heard Kenneth Copeland talk about this in his ministry, is that you master the fundamentals of the game if you want to become the best of the best. And so what are the fundamentals of your faith? We're going to talk about that, the fundamentals of faith that you do every day, and you do them better than anyone else. That's how you're going to become proficient at victory on a daily basis.
Do you have your Wi-Fi on?
I do, but we can...
You don't want to go this way?
Oh, yeah, we can go that way.
Because if we go up by the blue...
So I want to talk about the fundamentals of my faith and share them with you again. It's not hard to know that if you go to my website, you're going to see the 3-2-1 prosperity formula. It's right there in plain sight. So the fundamentals of my faith and the whole capstone of the ministry is built on honor to God and favor to man. Okay? So being as... Whoa, hey, that's Rhea.
We know
this is our neighbor dog. She's out at the restaurant today.
Yeah, Rhea.
That's our neighbor. So
Just a dog.
how did she get there?
Obviously,
I know.
Eric's inside.
I know.
That's my guess.
So anyway,
The dogs of Sheboygan.
I know that I'm not capable of doing anything. It's God that does the work. Welcome, Adam, by the way. I see you out there. So
Yeah, we see you.
through the tithe is how we've been able to prosper. We've been able to do it through the tithe. I haven't been able to win on my human understanding. I tried my whole adult life until I got smart, okay? And when I got smart, I stopped. So I was in my 20s. I was the most ambitious guy you could ever know. I met Sabrina at that time. I was very much, she'll tell you, I was strapping, I was young. I read over 700, probably over 1,000 books on success, and I was poor, and I did not have anything financially to my name. And so
You had a Cadillac.
Well, I had a Cadillac that was not paid for, that I was letting break down because I was broke.
I didn't know. I thought you had that paid off.
Nope.
Oh.
So what it was when I surrendered and I let God take over. That's when all the good stuff started to happen, and that's how I solidified with you too, because God really kept us together through a lot of challenging things. So the tithe to me is a part of my heart because it symbolizes my need for Him and my inability to do it on my own. And that's the biggest shift that I made that made it all possible. And so the next fundamental is the non-judgment / peer awareness. And that made it where I didn't become, conformed to the world. Okay, so when you're conformed to this world, what it means is that you resist something or someone, you put a judgment up against them, and then you become them. Perfect example is, Sabrina always told me, don't get in a relationship with someone that doesn't honor their mother and father, because they're going to do it to you, because they haven't learned the most basic of all skill sets, is that you have to be the love if you want to get love. You can't just, I hate my father, and then all of a sudden you wonder why your husband becomes your father, because you did it to yourself. And then number 1, following the fastest path to my joy in every moment. And then the techniques, ABC break, safe touch, and self-entrainment technique. Those are the master's tools in my playbook that I've been using over and over and over and over and over and over and over. So what about you, Sabrina?
Oh, that's not I'm sorry. I'm agreeing with you.
No, for your skill sets. For what are your fundamentals?
Well, mine, I guess, faith, like trusting. So I guess
she's a master of trusting. See,
I just take my I don't have room for expecting the worst, because why would I look for something I don't want? So
yeah.
I just I guess one of my skill sets would be is finding the joy in the day, like making your day joyful.
Yep.
But I mean, you know, because if you don't, then, like, if you don't choose to be happy and you don't choose joy, then you're choosing the opposite of that.
Yeah.
Because it's conscious. It's a.
So the analogy is, when I played hockey, Bob Suter used to tell us, you know, we would do shooting for hours and hours, and passing and skating, and repetition to where you would be so good at it that it was automatic. And the biggest thing was the conditioning part. 5:15 practice in the morning with no pucks, and you'd skate you until people were passing out or throwing up on the ice, and he would say, listen, this is how you're going to win the games. And we would say, this is freaking hell. And he'd say, well, if you can get through this, then you can beat that team that's been beating you every year. And then, so that's what we did. We beat Memorial High School for the first time in 7 years, and we played against the top high school team in the country. He took us out, and we got 14-1 in the first period. They were beating us. Okay, it was a complete blowout. I think it was it Shattuck St. Mary's or something like that, and they were destroying us. And so then we got back, and Bob did a little bit of work, and he got us put together, and he just changed everything. And we got conditioned, and we went out and we played them again, and we beat them 5-3. So it was an extraordinary experience of how you can rise up to levels that you don't even think are possible, just by taking your fundamentals and mastering them, and pushing yourself to limits that you don't think you can do. And so let's translate that into what you can do with the faith. So for myself, we can look at, you know, the world we live in right now. We can say, what is it going to look like tomorrow? We can ask all these questions, but that's going to get us nowhere. Instead, what we do is we, like what Sabrina said, how deep can I trust him? What if I abandon everything? And what if I just say, God, I trust you because I know you love me, and I'm going to be obedient to everything you said, and I'm going to turn away from this world and all of its lies, and I'm going to become the best at doing that.
That and gratitude.
And gratitude, yes.
That's the other one.
Praise and gratitude. Praise and gratitude.
Yeah, the praying and gratitude.
So, okay, so your skill set, Sabrina, you are so good at finding joy in the everyday moments, and you're a master. Like the one thing I've known about you better than anybody is that you trust. Mm-hmm. She's got trust that is incredible. Like it's been deeply ingrained. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, the gratitude. So she's got some serious, masterful skill sets.
Like taking the potentially worst situation and only seeing the good in it.
She blows my mom away. My mom doesn't even know how to operate around Sabrina, because my mom will just shake her head and be like, that woman, she's like, she is so good. I don't know how she's so positive. She always expects the best. And my mom's just so amazed by Sabrina. And it's true, though. My mom will be like, I got this pain, I got that pain. And Sabrina will say, well, Anita, look at the good thing. And my mom will be like, what? There's a good side? You know? But anyway, these things work. And, you know, you have to look at the results you're getting and know that if you keep doing the same thing, you're not going to get different results. So what are your skills? What are your techniques? Put them in the comment section. What are you going to master? What are you going to become a master at? Here's a good tip for you. I only had 2 tools in my skill set when I first began. I had the fastest path to my joy and tithing. That's it, tithing. I had 2 things. That's it. And I was able to go from bedridden and bankrupt to build 6- and 7-figure company by doing that because of the grace of God. It wasn't because of how great I was. I was like in a really binded situation back then, okay? But I mastered those skill sets, and I overcame this Goliath in my world, which was this idea that I was going to be permanently disabled by Lyme disease. It was really, really a big belief that I had to tear down, and I did it through many years. It took 6 years. But along the way, I mastered just 2 skill sets. And then I had 1 technique that I got, which was the ABC break process. That was what I had to begin with. I had 1 technique and 2 real skill sets. And that got me all the way to what I called my own Super Bowl. I actually bought an opal ring that I used to wear. I don't have it now, but I have this gorgeous opal. And I had told Sabrina that if I ever built my own company that did over, $1 million, I would get myself a Super Bowl ring. And I remember in 2013, was it, when we went to get our Super Bowl, or 12? What year was that?
That was 13 or 14.
It was 13.
Yeah.
So we went in 2013, and I got us a pair of opal rings, and I said, these are our Super Bowl rings, because we were practically homeless when we began, and by the grace of God, it wasn't anything else. But it was the fundamentals, because I did it all day, every day.
Hi, Kevin.
Hey, Kevin. So here's how I did it, just in case you want to know. I would say to myself, what is the fastest path to my joy in every moment? Now, we were in a 100-plus-year-old farmhouse, and I was thinking, well, I just want to play my guitar. So I'd do that, and then I'd go get some coffee, and then I would go for a little walk, and it was just these random things that didn't seem to make any sense, but what it was doing was it was ingraining it so deep within me that I had to stay in a position of joy at all times. And the tithe put honor up, and then God was able to use my obedience and bless me accordingly. And that's all I had. And then I bought, that's not true. I had Sabrina actually. Sabrina had the faith to keep me positive, because the setbacks were pretty painful every time.
He was confident that it was the end of the world, and I kept saying what a great day it was, like how great it was that he was going through all of this terrible stuff.
Yeah.
And I said, well, it's not terrible, you're alive. Like,
yep.
You're not dead. So if you're gonna live through this, it's probably gonna make you a better, more improved, better.
And so here's what you could do. This is a really cool idea that I think that just came to me. I've been trying to do this manifestation process for day 8, but I already have it on my YouTube channel. So until I relaunch this, you can watch this and set an intention. And if you feel that you need people in your life to team up, which I suggest you have a team around you, because every functional organization has many pieces that go together. You can't be a solo thing going on and be the highest level of success. You got to have a team. Is manifest for yourself people in your life that make up the deficiency of where your weaknesses are. Don't try to strengthen your weaknesses. Just focus on your skill set and your strength, and be the best of the best at it, and surround yourself with people like I do with Sabrina that bring in those other skill sets that I need.
You just said what came to mind a little bit back there that I wanted to say when you're talking about skill set, and that's exactly that, is instead of trying to improve where you're weak, just keep getting better at what it is you enjoy and that you're good at, and let others fill in, like you just said, in your life where you either would rather not, like maybe you don't like bookkeeping, find a bookkeeping service, or maybe you don't like maybe you don't like social interaction, just stay online, or find someone else to do that for you, or whatever.
Hey Stephanie, see you out there. So we're talking about skill sets if you just joined us, and you might want to watch this over again, because we're giving out some breadcrumbs that you want to pick up.
Ooh, watch out, don't step there.
Yep, little fish.
It looks like some little fish.
So the big idea here is that you can overcome a Goliath in your life, whatever it seems to be, by taking inventory. And I recommend you do this even on a piece of paper. Just start to write down, what am I really good at, fundamentally speaking? What are my strong points, in the kingdom of God? What do I represent well in front of God? Is it, which gifts of the Spirit do you have, or what are your traits that you've been strong with? Write them down. Then write down everybody you know. Most people have this erroneous idea that money solves all their problems, but money doesn't solve any problems. unless you just have a direct need for money. Money,
Yeah.
you know the
There's
thing.
an unhappy rich. So if you're
Spam calls coming in.
what
sorry.
is that? What's she saying? My health.
My Goliath
judging
is
myself?
judging myself. Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
So yes.
Yeah, that's something. Just here's one thing to remember when you're recognizing the judging yourself is the safe touch technique is very powerful, and forgiving yourself often for judging yourself, because it's a human tendency, and to compare yourself to a better you expect, or even to be judging yourself by comparing yourself to others in your world. But just to forgive yourself for that, because first by making the confession of it and being aware of it helps you to recognize when you're doing it, and then you can become conscious of choosing an alternative to the judging, and then you just start changing your habit, you know?
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. And for coaching, you said coaching PTSD, so I've had issues with that. I had a lot of that when I had somatization and Lyme.
That's her,
oh yeah,
what she's good at.
soul's mission, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can break that down into steps too. Okay, so when you look at that as a totality, you can say, well, it's quite complex, because sometimes that doesn't happen instantly for people where they get a lot of benefit. So perhaps you need to break it down into some smaller steps, and then you focus on what you're best suited for, and then attract and bring into your life people that can accompany you to make this a better effort, a concerted effort, where you have not just you, but you have others that can bring along their talents too. And so, like I said, taking inventory, you write down who you know, what you know, and what you're exceptionally well at performing, doing what you perform exceptionally well. That's what I meant.
Okay.
So, and what I mean by that is, it's like some people could say, well, I eat pizza very well and I watch a lot of TV. That's what I do really good. And I could say, okay, well, maybe you're a good...
maybe you should be a movie critic.
Yeah, well, yeah, maybe you're good...
Or a food critic.
Maybe you're good at relaxing. Maybe that's great. But maybe you want to surround yourself with somebody who's highly motivated type A type person, then that'll rub off on you a little bit. And if you're the type A type person that overwhelms and stresses yourself out, maybe you should surround yourself with people that are good at teaching you how to meditate and relax and do things like that.
He's the type A and I'm the chill out.
That's what I do. I surround myself with people I need. So,
awesome.
All right, well, this is the main thing, is let's break it back to the fundamentals. It's very, very simple. So, along the same line of thinking, when Bob would tell us in hockey that legs feed the wolf, and he'd say no pucks for the first week of practice, you're gonna get in shape. And then we'd show up, and all it was an hour of mountain climbers where it's just like, it's pure hell. But by the end of it, when you're done and then you get to touch pucks, your legs are just built and you're ready now. Now you're ready to add on. So think of your skill sets as you need a base foundation, then you need to build up on that. So when I began my journey, my only skill set was, I said, well, great, this is an opportunity. Since I don't have any money, my opportunity is to tithe, because it's better to do it now so I can have a structure, so when there is a lot of money, I'm not going to get resentful. Okay? And I got to see God's hand at work lifting me out of that pit, and then I had the opportunity to follow the fastest path to my joy in every moment, because I didn't have a job. I had nothing else to do. See, my blessing was my curse, and my curse was my blessing. That's how you look at it. All right? So, when I was a fit, astute guy, when I met Sabrina, before I gave my life to God and before I followed wisdom, I thought that because I was strong and because I could speed read and I could devour a book a day and I could do all these incredible things that ended up getting me broke and nowhere, that was going to get me somewhere other than broke and nowhere. But what it was human arrogance. I was arrogant because I thought that human ability translated into God's grace. See, my blessing was a curse. And so naturally, the Lyme disease came along and laid me up quite a bit and took away all of my wealth.
Whoa. Oh no, are you guys there?
Oh,
hold on.
we'll bring you back. Hold on.
Wait.
Where's the blessing in this? Sabrina, I need you to tell me where the blessing is. There we go.
Did you need to reset the battery on this?
No.
Oh.
We're back.
Hey,
How'd you like
know, is it, did you guys go on a little roller coaster ride? Are you still there?
How'd you like the view? Anyway, no, I accidentally touched the button that short circuits the hand thing that I got.
I thought it was just malfunction.
My bad. But anyway, you get the point. And so I built with just a couple techniques that worked.
Just trying to see if you guys are still paying attention.
Now, here's a challenge for you. Let's say following the fastest path to your joy in every moment is the technique you want to work with because it's pretty exciting. And you do it regardless of the fallout, which means that you don't care what your human mind tells you, the reasoning of your human mind. You know that joy in and of itself is the reward you're seeking, so you just seek the joy and all these things are brought unto you, okay? Because if you seek God, all these things will be brought unto you. And the joy of the Lord is your strength. But what if you could do it every day, all day, and make a habit out of it for a good week or two, to the point where it suddenly dawned on you that you've never lived this way before, and you can't believe how you've put off the majority of your life without doing this. You see, that's what I learned when I had to go through Lyme disease, was that I was doing everything from human reasoning up until that point. I said, you know what? There's another best-selling book out, and if I just go study this new guy, I'll be so much smarter, and then, I'll be able to do this and this and that.
Figure it out.
All this human reasoning, just left and right. And I was so full with useless information from all these hundreds of books that I sounded intelligent, but my pockets were empty. Do you know how that feels? Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's the deal, is that when I was laid up, I said, that actually was not very joyful to live that way. I was always stressed all the time. That wasn't allowing at all. That was trying to push through and resist everything in life. I was resisting. Because life couldn't have an opportunity to bless me. Because I was so stuck in my head. Mm-hmm. So the idea here is let's look to the course of the conclusion of that. What would I be doing and who would I be being if I already achieved success? Well, I'd be playing guitar, I'd be working out, I'd be doing all the things that were the fastest path to my joy. So instead, I just started doing those things now that were the fastest path to my joy. And then all those things were added unto me. The people came in, the businesses came in, all the things came into my world to meet me, to support that vision that I was already living. See?
Yep.
It's backwards.
Yeah.
What do you want to add? Anything?
Yeah, no, I guess the fastest path to my joy majority days is making dinner.
Do you want to hold that?
Is that lame? No, I don't.
Oh, I was going to say I was going to read that Bible if you wanted.
Oh, okay.
I brought my...
Do I want to hold this? No, that's not the fastest path
so
to my
if
joy,
she can hold this, I brought my...
Uh-oh.
I brought my
Handy
Minister
dandy.
of Allowing signature Bible here.
Uh-oh.
And
I think we need to do this. I'm too short. It's okay.
Just do whatever. They can still hear me. Just show them the good scenery while I read,
Oh, okay.
They don't need to look at me. They can just listen.
I just put it on me.
Just put it on you.
Scenery.
They want to look at you anyway, okay?
Let's see if we can look up your nose. Just kidding.
So here, let's go to Luke.
Focus.
Here's your Bible study for today, okay? This is really important. It concludes everything I've been saying. So we're going to go to Luke 12:22. Do not worry or be fearful. Okay, so, and he said unto his disciples, therefore I say unto you, take no thought for your life, what you shall eat, neither for the body, what you shall put on. The life is more than meat, okay, and the body is more than raiment, clothing, right? So, the life is more than meat. So your meat body is not life, okay? Well, it's going up and down like...
I'm getting bit by a bug.
So the meat body is not your life. It says it right there. So that takes us back to Romans 8. My life scripture is Romans 8:10. Christ be in you, then the body is dead because of sin, but the spirit is life because of righteousness. So you got to understand that this is a decision that you have to make in every moment. Are you a meat body? Because if you are a meat body, then you're responsible for all of your needs, and you should go out and get a job, and you should work hard, and you should stress out and do all those things because you're under the curse. If you're a meat,
stressing out is so much fun.
well, if you are a meat body, then you need to worry about these things because you're not following Christ. Because Christ said, do not worry. He's telling you it's a command. It's not a suggestion. Do not worry or be fearful. He's saying do not.
Boom.
So what do you?
Drop.
So what do you do in place of that? You have to substitute a bad habit with a better habit.
Well, you can use your creative imagination if the temptation to worry is strong.
Here, we'll just leave it at that.
Let your creative imagination paint a brand new picture, so you can lie until you lay where you lie. Like that's.
Well, that's right. Your creative imagination is the living Christ, so you overlay it with a new foundation in spirit, and then you speak what is true according to God, not what is true to your five senses.
Because the thought you take for your life, or your stress that you take, right, that you trying, that's all an illusion. So if you're living in an illusion, why wouldn't you choose your illusion? Why not allow for it to be an enjoyable, fun illusion as opposed to one expecting the worst and then being surprised when you get it?
Yeah, exactly. And if you come from a place of stress, you end up in a place of stress. So the way that it works is real simple. Is you say, what is the fastest path to my joy in this moment? I am not concerned about what happens because I know that God is the only life principle, the only mind, the only power, the only presence, and I never left heaven. And therefore, I can only move because God moves me. And therefore, there is only God. So I might as well follow my joy in every moment. And I trust God's going to take care of all these details for me.
I was thinking ice cream, but it's closed.
Yeah. So who would you be being if you didn't have that fear or that worry? That's a good question. You should ask yourself that question. Who would you be being if you did not have that fear or worry?
You said BB.
Be being. Yes, be being.
B.
See, who would you be expressing being itself as if you didn't fear or worry? And you start
mess with you a little bit. Gotta lighten it up a little bit.
Start expressing yourself
heavy.
In that way right now. No, it's not heavy. I'm just being like
light and fluffy?
Yeah, I'm being light and fluffy.
That's so the opposite of you ever.
I'm being so demanding of everyone right now. Like I want you to stop worrying.
Yeah.
Not for you, but
because worry and stress is a big tasty carrot. It's fun to worry and it's fun to stress because misery loves company, and most likely there's somebody in your environment and all you do
my bad
is stress out and complain about life. Like start to pay attention to a few things that you have the most control over. It's gonna go crazy
again.
So
hey, Isabel.
One thing that you have control over is the thoughts you think, the words you speak, but also the people you keep company, the music you listen to. So maybe you're saying, hey, I have no control over the coworkers I have, but you do have control over the way you interpret the words they speak. So say they're saying, oh my God, did you see the news? It's terrible what's going on. And in your mind, you could be saying, this guy's full of baloney. And you could be having your own conversation in your mind and not even engage and not even give back any of the negative. You don't have to play in to other people's worry and demand for you to join their worry and their stress. So start to pay attention when other people are controlling your life because they want you to join them in their misery. Because maybe you have it figured out, but not everybody is on the same. Oh, they're coming. Woo! Yeah, thank you. Not everybody uses bells, but man.
So
good bell. How'd you like that, huh?
Well, yeah. I mean, that was a little intense, though. A little lighter and fluffier next time, okay?
But it's true.
Yeah.
A lot of people feel obligated to rant and rage about negative crap because of somebody else in their life.
Yeah.
They might be saying, well, I wouldn't really think or talk this way if it weren't for my best friend or my husband or my mom or my coworker or whatever, Just become conscious and aware of the feeling spaces that are created by the people you keep in your environment. Because environment conquers will.
Well, you have a choice in every moment of what to focus on.
Do you want to go down the river again or straight?
No, we'll go straight.
Okay.
Whatever you focus on determines what comes into your inner kingdom, okay?
I had a hat on
So,
and
if you're focusing on what the narrative of the mainstream is, then you're going to get the results of the mainstream. And most people
don't want it.
Well, look at where they end up at age retirement, broke, dead, or disabled. So just look at the end and work backwards, okay? So aside from them, who usually ends up winning in the end? Who wins in the end?
Well, there's no like win.
Well, who comes out on top? Who comes out on top, right?
God. The person who decides.
You can just stop right there because that's the answer.
Oh.
you become what you contemplate. So you contemplate God. Mm-hmm. If you contemplate God as opposed to people.
I'm an A+ student, guys.
Well, if I catch you off at the right spot, you hit it just right, okay? You don't need to oversell it. It's just right there.
Okay.
If you contemplate God, which is the good in your life, you become what you contemplate. So how simple is that? You see, God doesn't make it so hard that you can't do it. He makes it so easy that most people are too arrogant to do it. And that's the problem, is that people are so intelligent that they talk themselves out of receiving grace.
That, and they talk themselves out of being in joy.
Yeah, because they think that if they follow their joy, it'd be irresponsible, because they got so many demands, and see, they make self-importance the thing.
That
see,
and
that's
judgment.
arrogance.
Like when you're judging your life and thinking, this day, my life isn't playing out the way I expected it to be by this time in my age of where I'm at. I should be in a better home or a better financial situation or a better relationship. Well, then that's to say that you're God and you're judging, right? Why not be grateful for exactly where you're at? Because there's always, no matter where you're at, no matter who you're with, no matter how much your income is, you're better off than a majority of people. So instead of looking at how your current situation doesn't compare to where you expect yourself to be, then you're just setting yourself in a pit of despair, of misery. You can't even be joyful with that as like being so disappointed. But if you can look at, hey, I'm so grateful I have a roof over my head. Some people are homeless. So grateful I have my own vehicle that's operating, like whatever. So I'm so grateful I have a income. So anytime you receive income, instead of being like, you know what, I'm worth so much more than this, that's not a bad thing. But it's when you're not at least being like, you can use where you want to go as motivation, but to not constantly put down what you have, because then it's miserable.
Well, there's a
Let's go here.
That is true. And then I also want to remind you that your standards are set by you, because this ties it back to Bob. And see, I learned a lot of things that some people don't agree with.
What about Bob?
Yeah. Well, here's one thing I learned, is that if you didn't perform at 100, you didn't play. So in other words, if you came to practice and you thought that you were going to, maybe just give it a half a day, like I was just going to try a little bit, he was always watching. And if you didn't give 100 in practice, and he did this to me one time, and I remember I almost cried, because this was a big game for me, and I was slacking off in practice, and he waited until that day of the game, and he said, guess what, Murray, because my last name used to be Murray, he goes, you're not suiting up tonight. And I said, what? And he said, yeah, you're not playing. He goes, go sit on the bench. And so he benched me on one of the most important games. And I remember sitting on the bench feeling like an absolute tool. And I learned a very powerful lesson, is that, you see, if you don't put out the performance, then you don't get the result. So you either did it or you didn't do it. And there is no gray area.
Yeah, there's no trying.
There's no trying. It's either you did or you did not.
Trying is a delicate way of saying I didn't.
And and he taught me a valuable lesson, that the gray area called excuses doesn't actually work in the real world. That is one way that you can deceive yourself, but it doesn't produce anything other than more excuses. Okay. And so when I look at that, I say, okay, here's my objective, here's my goal. What's it going to take? And then I break it down into the daily actions that I should repeat in order to build the habits that get me there. Like, for instance, working out twice a day is one thing that I do on most days. And the reason why I do it is because I have a standard of health that I like to be at.
Well, plus you go crazy if you don't work out.
Well, I need that for my mental health because
Yeah.
it keeps me feeling good, and I need that. It's expressing myself in a way that I need. And so if I were to sit around and not do that, I could come up with a million reasons why. I could say, I'm just too busy today. It's Monday. I'm not going to work out on Monday.
Out, it's raining out. It's snowing out.
Quarantine. Why should I do anything? I could just sit home. There's a million reasons I could make up for that. But at the end of the day, if I look in the mirror and I don't like what I see because I haven't put in the work, then I can't blame anybody but myself. And that's the same with finances. It's the same with relationships. It's the same with everything. And so when you break down what your fundamental skill sets are, you have to drive them into habitual behaviors that are done on a daily basis. And once you do that, success is automatic. Because you either did it or you didn't. And there's no gray area. Because you can't fool nobody but yourself.
Cha-ching.
So.
Awesome.
Anyway, so there's that. I think we're done. Are we good or what?
Yeah, I think we're good. Does anybody have any questions?
Yeah.
Well, there's a delay in the questions, so
well,
just put in any questions or message, or put a comment even on the page. If you ever put a post on there, we read them. Sometimes there's a delay of getting them posted on the group, but just remember that if you have a question, and I love it when people say, this is a dumb question. I'm like, you know what? The only dumb question there is one that's not asked, because that means you're not going to get the answer or clarification, and most likely there's somebody else wondering the same thing you are. So when you have a question, please have the courage to put it out there, and so we can address it.
Actually,
in a video.
I did see a dumb question one time when I did a live stream. There was a dumb question. There is such a thing.
Oh.
But anyway, yeah. So, yeah.
I stand corrected.
Yeah.
Whatever.
There are such things as dumb questions.
Okay.
So, yeah. You can ask a dumb question, but you know what? There's no judgment. There is such thing as a dumb question, but you don't have to judge yourself for asking dumb questions.
Okay, what question was dumb?
Okay, so I did a live stream one time, and somebody tried to hijack my live stream, and they said, "Where do you get all this garbage?" And I said, "From being successful," because I thought that was a stupid question.
But
because
how is that a dumb question?
Because it wasn't a question; it was an implication that what I'm saying is garbage.
Okay,
so therefore,
so if you
it's
have the intention of insulting.
A dumb question is a question that is not a question, but it's intended to create a consequence.
Yeah, he's trying to poke the bear.
Yeah, so that's what a dumb question is. A dumb question is not a sincere question. Yeah. It is one that is aimed at something.
Okay, so have a sincere question.
Something other than producing an answer to something.
And all right, there we go.
Yeah.
That's good.
All right, guys, we're gonna let you go. So enjoy your day.
Good to see you.
Hey,
if
Shay.
You just jumped on late.
Yep. Remember, skill sets, habits. Watch the movie Miracle. Watch it. Watch what Herb Brooks taught people, all of it on his team, and they did impossible things. This is how you can translate anything into your life. You break it down into the mechanical, fundamental steps. You become a master of those steps, and you perform them repetitively over and over and over and over and over until you're so precision at it that it just comes out of you spontaneously. You drive it into a daily habit where you produce it daily, and all of a sudden it becomes a destiny, and that's how you win.
That, and you create your perfect day, and then you create your perfect life.
Yeah, and say that you are there now, because now is all that exists, and you'll eventually end up laying where you lied.
Awesome. All right, love you guys.
Okay.
See you. Bye.